Hey you, yeah you, whoever you might be watching this, the change start with you. I just want to let you know that the change start with you. Whatever you feel like the change is, you gotta seek that. You gotta find that. You gotta understand that. You gotta know the change start with you. It don't start with nobody else but you. Understand your purpose in life. Go after that. If you don't know your purpose, if you don't know what you put here to do, ask God, pray, get an understanding of that. You know, be intuitive. Go high as you can go. Ask God to reveal his purposes and his plans for your life while you're here, because life is short. And we all have our own destinies and pathways and purposes in life. You know, he put us here to do our own will, do his will at that. But you got to understand, if you want to make a change, it start with you. It don't start with nobody else around you. It don't start with your family. It don't start with your mom. It start with you. It don't start with your father. It start with you. Not your siblings, nobody but you. You might be the one to make the difference in your family, to do something distinctive, radical, astronomical that nobody's ever done. Not to boast upon it, not to brag upon it, not to say you better, but you just might be called and chosen out of everybody else to break the generational curse. It started with you. So you gotta know that. You the one that's called. You chosen. You know, whoever you might be. I feel like this video is definitely, it's put here to reach somebody. It's called, this video that's for somebody that's called, or maybe looking for their calling and they just feel lost right now. I felt like that before. I ain't know my calling. Now I know. But one thing you can't do is you can never let nobody put expectations on your life. You know, never listen to nobody that never went as high as you trying to go. Never take that type of advice, because what they're going to do is they're going to limit your expectations. They're going to try to dictate how far they feel like you should go. You know, and they're going to put a theory in your mindset on what they feel like is best for you, and you may not even know yourself. So that'll cause confusion and self-doubt. You know, and you'll come up with these mythical aspects on what you think you can do or what you think you may not be able to do, and you don't even know because you ain't even tried. And you listen to a loser or somebody that don't really want you to win, but they'll disguise themselves as somebody that really care about you because they might be family or a close friend. And you'll be caught up in your mindset that you got so much love and care for them that you don't want to abandon their calling, or not so much their calling, but you don't want to abandon their opinion because you love them and you care for them. But they don't really love you like that. They don't care about you like that. If they did, they wouldn't be giving you all these mythical aspects of thinking. They wouldn't be tearing down your dreams every time you talk to them or asking for an opinion. So sometimes you might have to do this alone. Every battle is not meant to be fought with somebody else. You know, you got to do it on your own. That's why God called you. That's why he placed the battle amongst you. That's why he put you through the storm. You can't have a test without a testimony. I had to realize that. So whenever you got plans, keep them revealed. Keep them concealed. Don't reveal them, should I say. Excuse me on that. Don't reveal your plans to everyone. Sometimes don't reveal them to no one. God knows. He knows your plans. Sit back, think. You know, you be your own critic. Sometimes life itself and experiences is the best teacher. You know, only you can know what's best for you. God will place people and things in your life. He'll put you in certain aspects of living and a way of thinking to know how to maneuver throughout life. You don't need everybody's opinion on everything. So don't always bring your dreams and all your aspirations and the blessings that God called you to here to do and achieve on everybody else, because everybody don't want to see you win. You know, everybody don't want to see you win. So don't think that. Don't think just because they're your family and friends, they want the best for you. Hate is one of the most toxic and most common things nowadays, and that's disguised in many ways. You know, jealousy is a common killer. You know, so be careful with that. But like I said, the change definitely start with you. Understand that. You gotta be the one to jump out, take a leap of faith sometimes. Don't put fear and anxiety first. Put your passion first. Put your purpose first, and watch how fast your life change. And it may not be when you want it to be. And that's another thing. We gotta understand that. Everything that we want is not always for us. And sometimes what we put here to do, it's always it's a plan behind it. It's always, you know, it's God's plan for us. So with that being said, he's in control. Yeah, he put you here to do it. He put you here to take the steps physically, but he behind it spiritually. So he know what's best for us. He got the time. So just because things might not be working out for you how you feel like it should be or when it should be, they don't necessarily mean it won't happen. It's a time and a place for everything. You got to be molded. You got to be shaped. You got to be captivated and cultivated, and you got to be, you got to get knowledge. You got to get understanding and wisdom through yourself. You got to go through things in life to become who you're destined to be. A season of change. People, places, and things change every day. And so will you. But will you change for the better? That's the question you got to ask yourself. That's up to you. You got free will in life. So it's all about what you do with it every day. Don't waste your time. You don't want to look back when you get old, if you live to see a certain age. You don't want to look back 30, 40 years from now wishing on what you could have did when you had the opportunity, especially when you know you got a gift. This ain't for the people that don't got gifts. This ain't for the people that don't really want to do nothing. This ain't for the ones that don't want to seek higher learning and become a better version of themselves. This ain't for y'all. This ain't no offense, but this ain't who I'm talking to. This ain't the audience. This ain't who this video I'm gonna reach. This for the ones that got the calling. This for the ones that got the purposes. This for the ones that know what they want to do. This for the ones that understand life and they know that they're capable of success. They want to break the generational change that's been a threshold on their family. This for y'all. This for the people like us. This for the ones that got common ground and common understanding like me. But you got to understand, life is a journey. Life is a battle. You're going to go through things. We all go through things. I go through things. Behind this camera, I'm not perfect. None of these content creators or anybody y'all see is perfect. So that's another thing. I got another video separately on, life itself and comparison and things like that. How not to look for, validation throughout social media or whatever you might see from another person. Don't compare yourself to what else another person might have, or what they may be doing or what they may be in life, because they may be in the same avenue or lane you might be in, or what you feel like you called to do. It may not be for you, or these people might not even have what you think they have, because in this day and age, as we all know, you can fake it in many ways, but how many gonna really be real? So, like I said, but your calling, your destiny, and go after that. That's what that's really what I really persuade you to do that. I really can encourage you to do that, should I say. If nothing else, don't abandon it. You understand that. Whoever you might be watching this, anybody. If this don't reach number one person, I did my job. But I want to reach millions, and it will. It will. My voice will reach millions. Not just this video, my voice in general. My messages. My calling, hopefully it'll help you see your calling. My calling to help others become who they're supposed to be. Bless others as you will be blessed. Stay humble. Keep humility first. Stay dedicated. Stay patient. Be consistent. Keep your mind always hungry. Keep your mind full of new ideas. Captivating moments. Be creative. Never stay complacent. Always come up with something new. Digest something that's strategic. Stay strategic. Never sit down and just let life go. Never feel like you made it to a point where you can just sit down and relax. Because when you do that, there's always somebody that's out working you, whether you win a competitive mind state or not. Unless you've done something that's never been done before, which I'm sure most of you probably will, you're always going to be in a competitive market worldwide. So you're not the first one to do it. If you ain't in the lane, like I said, where you're doing something that's never been done. And even then, never get complacent. Never sit back and be like, okay, I finally here. I made enough money. I did this. I got where I'm supposed to be. I'm living how I'm supposed to be living. I can sit back. When you do that, that's when you gave up. You ain't dedicated like you thought you was. That ain't a calling. To me, that's not a calling. That's called, you just want it for a monetary gain, whatever it may be, whatever lane that may be you may be in. So don't be that person. But don't look back on life full of regret. You don't want to put yourself in that predicament to look back on life full of regret. You called to be the one. You're going to make a big difference. And I see that for you. You got to see it for yourself, though. Everybody ain't going to see what you see. And that's something you got to know. Everybody don't see what I see. I'm fine with that. You know, I'm perfectly fine with that. Because it ain't about them, it's about me. It's not about the ones that don't see it. It ain't about the ones that do. I support the ones that do. I appreciate them. I appreciate the support. You know, but I'm on my journey of life. I ain't on nobody else's journey. You got to understand that. Their journey is not your journey. You know, you can't take everybody with you. That's another thing. Sometimes we get so caught up in relationships and family, and you know, we want to be generous too, that we want to bring everybody on our boat. But as we bring everybody on our boat, you know, we looking behind us and we can't keep sailing forward. So what we gonna do? Eventually we gonna sink, or we just not gonna be moving at all. And the ones that we trying to bring, the ones that we trying to bring forward, gonna be pulling us back because they want something out of us. You know, they want the aspects of living. They want the value of our gifts and our talents. They want the benefits of our work ethic, but they put nothing in. They bring nothing to the table. They don't have anything to give. They don't have a work ethic. They don't have a purpose. They don't have a calling. So they just want to feed. They just want to eat off of us. You know. So don't allow that either. Don't allow people to just use you and abuse you for what you got. Even if you ain't even if you ain't where you supposed to be right now. Even if you ain't reached your calling and really got to where you supposed to be. It don't matter what it may be. Just never feel like you know, obligated to do anything for anybody that's not of God's will. You know, pray on that. Pray on who's the righteous one in your life and who's really, you know, needs to be worthy of the assistance and who not. Because everybody don't mean well for you. Some people, they just want to battle test you and see if you dumb or if you got due diligence. Some people want to test your mentality and see how much they can get up out of you. I've been through that before. But it's okay to say no. It's okay to leave people behind. You know, that's fine. That don't mean you're a bad person. That don't mean that. You know, it's okay to cut people off. I do that with no problem. You know, but like I said, but that's a different story though. But that comes with the territory of this. So that's why I added that in here. That does come with the territory. But you chosen though. You called to make a difference. This your purpose. You know your purpose. Follow that. You know, follow your purpose. You gotta understand. It starts with you. And I'm gonna leave it at that. So figure that out. Figure out what it is that starts with you. Go after that. Stay humble, stay patient. Understand. With God's plan, no man can destroy you. You undefeated. You stay blessed.